A clumsy stumble changes everything when Maya drops a full pot of coffee on tech mogul Liam Parker's pristine suit. For her, it was just another chaotic shift at a downtown cafe, until an apologetic accident introduces her to the man who will turn her world upside down. Before we jump back in, tell us where you're tuning in from, and if this story touches you, make sure you're subscribed, because tomorrow I've saved something extra special for you. Maya Reynolds wiped down the counter for the third time that hour, glancing nervously at the wall clock. 20 minutes until her shift ended, and she could finally head home to her cramped studio apartment. Her feet ached from the 10-hour shift at Brewed Awakening, a trendy cafe in downtown Portland, where she'd been working for nearly 2 years. "Maya, table 7 needs refills," called Dani, the other waitress on duty, as she rushed past with a tray of empty plates. Sighing, Maya grabbed the coffee pot and made her way across the busy cafe. The morning rush had ended hours ago, but the lunch crowd had been relentless. As a fine arts graduate with mounting student loans and barely enough income to cover rent, Maya couldn't afford to turn down extra shifts, even when they stretched from morning to afternoon. She approached table 7, where a group of business professionals were engaged in what appeared to be an intense discussion. Their laptops and tablets covered most of the table, leaving little room for the coffee cups Maya needed to refill. "Excuse me," she said softly, trying to get their attention. No one looked up. She cleared her throat and tried again, louder this time. "Coffee refills?" A woman with sharp features and a sleek bob haircut glanced up irritably. "Yes, fine," she said, before returning to her conversation. Maya began carefully pouring coffee into the first cup, maneuvering around the expensive electronics. The cafe door chimed, and instinctively she glanced up. A tall man in an impeccably tailored charcoal suit entered, his presence immediately commanding attention. Even from across the room, Maya could sense an aura of authority surrounding him. Distracted, she didn't notice when the coffee began to overflow, spilling onto the table. "Oh!" she exclaimed, quickly pulling back the pot. In her haste, her elbow knocked against a stack of folders, sending them sliding across the polished surface. The sharp-featured woman gasped. "Watch what you're doing." Maya grabbed napkins, frantically trying to mop up the spill before it reached any electronics. "I'm so sorry," she stammered. The group at the table had fallen silent, all eyes now on her clumsy attempt to contain the damage. Face burning with embarrassment, Maya barely registered the cafe door opening again until a deep voice spoke from directly behind her. "Is there a problem here, Jessica?" Maya froze, coffee pot still in hand. She turned slowly to find herself face to face with the man who had entered moments before. Up close, he was even more intimidating. Tall with broad shoulders, dark hair with touches of silver at the temples, and piercing blue eyes that seemed to see right through her. "Mr. Parker," the sharp-featured woman, Jessica, said, her tone instantly transforming from irritated to deferential. "No problem at all. We were just finishing up before heading back to the office." Liam Parker. The name hit Maya like a jolt of electricity. Even she, disconnected as she was from the business world, knew who Liam Parker was. Founder and CEO of Horizon Technologies, one of the fastest-growing tech companies in the country. His face had been on the cover of Business Innovators just last month, a magazine Maya had flipped through while waiting at the dentist. Maya gestured vaguely with the coffee pot, intending to retreat to the safety of the counter. "Actually," Liam Parker said, checking his watch, "I'm running late. Jessica, we'll reconvene at the office in an hour. I need coffee first." The group quickly gathered their belongings, nodding respectfully to their boss as they filed out. Liam Parker took a seat at the now empty table, seemingly unbothered by the damp spots still visible on the surface. He looked up at Maya, who remained frozen in place. "Could I get a cup of that coffee?" "Black, please." "Of course," she managed, her voice barely above a whisper. As she turned to fetch a clean cup, disaster struck. Her well-worn sneaker caught on an uneven floorboard. Maya felt herself pitching forward, arms windmilling helplessly. The coffee pot flew from her grip, and in horrified slow motion she watched as the remaining contents, nearly half a pot of steaming hot coffee, arced through the air and landed squarely on Liam Parker's immaculate suit. The cafe fell deadly silent. Maya stared in horror at the dark stain spreading across what she was certain was a suit that cost more than her monthly rent. Her career as a waitress, meager as it was, flashed before her eyes. "I'm fired," she whispered, more to herself than anyone else. To her astonishment, Liam Parker didn't shout or call for the manager. Instead, he looked down at his ruined suit, then back up at Maya, and did something completely unexpected. He laughed. A rich, genuine laugh that crinkled the corners of his eyes and revealed perfect white teeth. "Well," he said, dabbing ineffectually at his jacket with a napkin, "I'd say this suit has seen better days." "I'm so sorry," Maya said, mortification washing over her in waves. "Please, let me pay for the cleaning, or... She stopped, realizing that even a month's salary wouldn't cover replacing a suit like that. "Don't worry about it," he said, shrugging off the soaked jacket. Underneath, his white shirt had been mostly spared, with only a few droplets marring the crisp fabric. Accidents happen. The manager, alerted by the commotion, hurried over. "Mr. Parker, I can't apologize enough. Please, your meal today is on the house, and if there's anything else we can do—" "Actually," Liam interrupted, his eyes still on Maya, "I'd like to speak with your waitress here. Privately, if possible." Maya's stomach dropped. Despite his calm demeanor, he was probably planning to demand her termination. The manager looked equally concerned, but nodded quickly. "Of course. You can use my office in the back." "That won't be necessary," Liam said. "Just a quiet table will do." The manager nodded again, clearly flustered. "Maya, take Mr. Parker to the corner booth, and get him something dry to wear immediately." Minutes later, Maya found herself sitting across from Liam Parker in the café's most secluded booth. He had draped his ruined jacket over an empty chair and was now wearing a Brewed Awakening t-shirt that the manager had produced from the staff room. Despite the casual attire, he still emanated authority and confidence. "I can't apologize enough, Mr. Parker," Maya began, her hands twisting nervously in her lap. "Liam, please," he said, waving away her apology. "And really, it's fine. Though I admit I'm curious about something." Maya tensed, waiting for the other shoe to drop. "Your name tag says Maya Reynolds. Any relation to Reynolds Gallery downtown?" The question caught her completely off guard. "That's my parents' gallery, yes." "How did you know?" "I purchased a piece from them last month. A landscape in oils that now hangs in my office." He studied her with new interest. "Your father mentioned his daughter was an artist." Maya shifted uncomfortably. "I studied fine arts at Portland State, but—" She gestured vaguely to her waitress uniform. "This is my career at the moment." Liam took a sip from the fresh cup of coffee she'd brought him. "And why is that? Your father speaks very highly of your talent." Heat rose to Maya's cheeks. "Dad's biased. And anyway, talent doesn't pay the bills. Especially not with student loans." Liam nodded thoughtfully. "Fair enough. What's your medium?" "Mixed media installation and digital art." Maya replied automatically, then bit her lip. Why was a tech billionaire asking about her failed art career after she'd just ruined his expensive suit? "Digital art," he repeated, leaning forward slightly. "Interesting. Do you have a portfolio?" Maya laughed nervously. "I mean, yes, but it's nothing special. Just some experiments with projection mapping and interactive installations from my final year." "I'd like to see it," Liam said simply. Maya stared at him, confused. "Mr. Parker." "Liam, I appreciate the interest, but why? Is this some kind of elaborate way to make me feel bad before you ask my manager to fire me?" Preparing and narrating this story took us a lot of time, so if you are enjoying it, subscribe to our channel. It means a lot to us. Now back to the story. Liam laughed again, the sound warming the space between them. "Not at all. I'm actually in need of someone with your background, assuming your work is as innovative as your father claims." "For what?" Maya couldn't keep the suspicion from her voice. "Horizon is launching a new interactive art installation at our headquarters. Something to make the space more human." He shrugged. "Tech companies can be sterile. I want visitors and employees alike to feel something when they walk into our building." Maya's heart skipped a beat. Was he saying what she thought he was saying? I've interviewed a dozen established artists, but none of them quite get the vision. Liam pulled a business card from his wallet and slid it across the table. I'd like to offer you a contract to design and implement the installation. Maya stared at the card as if it might bite her. This is a joke, right? You don't even know if my work is any good. I have good instincts about people, Liam said confidently, and I rarely make mistakes. Show me your portfolio, and if it's not what I'm looking for, no harm done. And if it is? Maya asked, finally picking up the card. The heavy stock paper felt significant between her fingers. Then we negotiate a contract that would cover your time, materials, and of course, your artistic vision. He named a figure that made Maya's eyes widen. That would be the starting point, of course. Maya's mind raced. The amount he mentioned so casually would pay off half her student loans in one go. But something didn't add up. Why me? Why now? There are dozens of established artists who would kill for this opportunity. Liam considered her question, tapping his fingers thoughtfully on the table. Because those established artists create what they think I want to see. They're playing it safe. His eyes locked with hers. You, on the other hand, just dumped coffee all over a CEO without calculating the consequences. I suspect your art has that same authenticity, that same willingness to make a mess if that's what the moment calls for. Maya couldn't help but laugh. So you want to hire me because I'm clumsy and unprofessional? I want to hire you because you're real, Liam corrected. And that's surprisingly rare in both art and business. The cafe had begun to empty as the lunch rush ended. Through the large front windows, Maya could see rain beginning to fall, drops racing each other down the glass. It felt symbolic somehow, as if the universe was washing away her old life and presenting her with something new. I get off at 5, she said finally. I could show you my online portfolio then. Liam checked his watch. I have meetings until 7. Dinner afterward? I know a place with excellent lighting to view digital art. Maya hesitated. Dinner with Liam Parker felt dangerously like crossing a line. This would be strictly professional, right? Just to discuss my portfolio and your project. Absolutely, Liam assured her, his expression serious. I don't mix business with pleasure, Ms. Reynolds. This is a professional opportunity, nothing more. Something in his tone made Maya believe him. She nodded slowly. Okay, dinner at 7:30 then. Perfect. Liam stood, extending his hand. I'll send a car for you. Where should it pick you up? Maya shook his hand, trying to ignore the warmth that spread from her fingertips up her arm at his touch. I'll meet you at the restaurant. Text me the address. If Liam was surprised by her independence, he didn't show it. Instead, he smiled. A different smile from before, smaller but somehow more genuine. Fair enough. I look forward to seeing your work, Maya. As he turned to leave, still wearing the cafe t-shirt, Maya called after him. Wait, your jacket. Liam glanced back at the coffee-soaked designer jacket and shrugged. Keep it as collateral. That way I know you'll show up tonight. After he left, Maya sank back into the booth, her mind spinning. Had that really happened? Had she really just been offered a potential life-changing opportunity because she'd spilled coffee all over one of the most powerful men in the tech industry? Maya! Her manager's sharp voice cut through her thoughts. What happened? Is he pressing charges? Do I need to call the owner? No. Nothing like that, Maya said, still dazed. He wants to see my art portfolio. He's considering me for a contract with Horizon Technologies. Her manager's jaw dropped. You're kidding. I'm as shocked as you are, Maya admitted. Well, don't just sit there. Your shift ended 10 minutes ago. Go home and prepare whatever it is you need to prepare. Maya didn't need to be told twice. She grabbed her bag from the staff room, along with Liam's ruined jacket, an oddly intimate reminder of their bizarre meeting, and headed out into the rainy afternoon. Her studio apartment was a small, cluttered space in a converted warehouse on the east side of the city. What it lacked in square footage, it made up for in character. High ceilings, exposed brick, and large windows that filled the space with natural light on the rare sunny days in Portland. Today, though, the gray light filtering through the rain-streaked glass only heightened Maya's anxiety as she booted up her aging laptop. She hadn't looked at her portfolio in months, having resigned herself to the reality that her art degree was little more than an expensive piece of paper. As the files loaded, memories came flooding back. Long nights in the university studio, the thrill of seeing her installations come to life, the way viewers had interacted with her pieces at her graduate show. She'd been proud of this work once, before reality had crushed her dreams. Looking at it now with fresh eyes, Maya was surprised to find that it wasn't as terrible as she'd convinced herself. Her thesis project, an interactive light installation that responded to viewers' movements with patterns based on their emotional expressions, had been genuinely innovative. The projection mapping piece that transformed a simple white cube into a living, breathing entity had won a small award. Maybe, just maybe, Liam Parker wasn't crazy for wanting to see her work. Maya spent the next few hours updating her portfolio site, adding newer sketches and concepts she'd created in stolen moments between shifts. By the time she needed to get ready for dinner, she felt a tentative spark of something she hadn't experienced in a long time: hope. Standing before her closet, Maya faced a new dilemma. What did one wear to dinner with a billionaire to discuss a professional opportunity? Her wardrobe consisted mainly of practical clothes for work and comfortable options for her rare days off. Nothing seemed appropriate for the upscale restaurant Liam had texted her about. Finally, she settled on a simple black dress, the one she'd worn to her graduation, paired with her only decent jacket and a pair of ankle boots. She pulled her curly dark hair into a neat bun and applied minimal makeup, aiming for professional rather than trying too hard. As she locked her apartment door, Maya realized she was still clutching Liam's ruined jacket. She'd meant to take it to the dry cleaners, but time had gotten away from her. Impulsively, she grabbed it, thinking maybe the cleaner near the restaurant could work miracles. The restaurant was exactly as intimidating as Maya had feared. All soft lighting, white tablecloths, and waitstaff who looked more polished than she felt. She gave Liam's name to the maitre d', who led her to a secluded table at the back where Liam was already waiting. He stood when he saw her, impeccably dressed in a fresh suit that probably cost more than her rent for the year. Despite his formal attire, there was something approachable about him, perhaps the slight smile that played at the corners of his mouth or the way his eyes lit up with genuine interest. "Maya," he greeted her, pulling out her chair. "Thank you for coming. Thank you for the invitation," she replied, trying to project confidence she didn't feel. She placed his stained jacket on an empty chair. "I brought this back. I'm sorry I didn't have time to get it cleaned." Liam waved dismissively. "Don't worry about it. I meant what I said. It's yours now. A memento of our unconventional meeting." Maya laughed despite her nervousness. "I don't think I want to remember dumping coffee on you. But thanks." Once they were seated, Liam ordered wine for the table, after checking that Maya drank wine, and then turned the conversation directly to her work. "Did you bring your portfolio?" Maya nodded, pulling out her tablet. "It's not as up-to-date as I'd like, but I refreshed it this afternoon." For the next hour, as they worked their way through an exquisite meal that Maya barely tasted, she showed Liam her projects. To her surprise, he asked thoughtful, intelligent questions about her artistic process, the technology she'd used, and the emotional responses she hoped to evoke. "This piece here," he said, pointing to her thesis project, "it's exactly the kind of interactive experience I've been looking for. Something that responds to human emotion rather than just movement." Maya felt her cheeks warm at his praise. "The technology was a bit experimental. I had to write custom code to make it work." "You code as well?" Liam looked genuinely impressed. "Just enough to make my art function," Maya admitted. "Nothing like what your engineers could do." "That's actually perfect," Liam said, leaning forward. "You understand both sides, the artistic vision and the technical limitations. That's rare." As the dinner plates were cleared away, Liam finally made his offer formal. "I'd like to commission you to create an interactive installation for the main lobby of our new headquarters. Something that captures the human element of technology. The way it connects us, enhances our lives, reflects our humanity." Maya took a deep breath. "This is a tremendous opportunity, and I'm grateful, but why me? Really? You could have any established artist in the country." Liam considered her question, swirling the last of his wine thoughtfully. "When I walked into that café today, I was exhausted. Endless meetings with people who only see numbers, not the humans behind them." He set his glass down. "Then I watched you, how flustered you were after spilling the coffee, how genuine your apology was. There was something refreshing about that moment of real human emotion in my otherwise sterile day. Maya couldn't believe what she was hearing. The way Liam described his reaction to her clumsy mishap made it sound almost fated. "So you're offering me this contract because I spilled coffee on you?" she asked, still skeptical despite the evidence of his sincerity. "I'm offering you this contract because your portfolio is exceptional," Liam corrected, his tone firm but kind. "The coffee incident just made me look at you, really look, when I might have otherwise been too preoccupied to notice." He pulled a folder from his briefcase and slid it across the table. "Here's my proposal. Take it home, read it carefully, and let me know if you're interested. No pressure, no rush." Maya's hands trembled slightly as she took the folder. "Thank you. I will. Just one question before we part ways," Liam said, signaling for the check. "What scent are you wearing?" "It's distinctive." Maya blinked, surprised by the personal question. "Wild honeysuckle. My grandmother used to make it. Now I buy it from a small botanical shop in my neighborhood." "It's lovely," he said simply. "It suits you." Later that night, alone in her apartment, Maya opened the folder with unsteady hands. The contract inside was shockingly straightforward. 6 months of work, a budget for materials that made her eyes widen, and a fee that would not only clear her student loans but give her enough financial cushion to focus on her art for at least a year afterward. It seemed too good to be true. She reached for her phone to call her best friend, Zoe, then hesitated. What if saying it aloud somehow jinxed it? What if she woke up tomorrow to find it had all been an elaborate dream? Instead, she carefully set the contract on her small dining table and went to bed, though sleep eluded her for hours as her mind raced with possibilities. The next morning, Maya woke to a text message from an unknown number. "Have you had a chance to review the contract? No pressure, just checking in." Liam Parker. Maya stared at her phone. Liam Parker had her personal number. Of course he did. It had been on her business card. Still, seeing his name on her screen felt surreal. "Yes, reviewed it last night. Would like to discuss a few points. When is good for you?" His response came almost immediately. "My office, 2 p.m. today? Address is in the contract." Maya glanced at the clock. It was already 9:30, and she had a shift at the café starting at noon. "Can't today. Working noon to close. Tomorrow morning?" There was a longer pause before his next reply. "I'll come to you." "Brewed Awakening at 8 p.m. tonight?" "You don't have to do that. I can rearrange." His response cut off her typing. "I don't mind. The coffee is good when it's in a cup, not on my suit. See you at 8. Maya laughed despite herself. Throughout her shift, she found herself glancing at the clock, counting down the hours until 8. Her manager noticed her distraction. "Everything okay, Maya? You seem a million miles away today." "Sorry, Gina. I'm meeting with Liam Parker tonight to discuss the contract." Gina's eyebrows shot up. "Here? Again? Should I warn the other servers to keep hot beverages away from you two?" Maya rolled her eyes but couldn't suppress a smile. "Very funny. It's just a business meeting." "Business meeting?" "Right," Gina winked. "That's why you keep checking your reflection in the espresso machine." At precisely 8 p.m., as Maya was wiping down the counter after the dinner rush, the cafe door opened. Liam entered, looking more casual than she'd seen him before in dark jeans and a light sweater that somehow managed to look both relaxed and expensive. He approached the counter with that slight smile that was becoming familiar. "Is it safe for me to order coffee, or should I stick to cold beverages?" "Very funny," Maya said, feeling her cheeks warm. "I'm officially off duty anyway. Someone else will be serving you." "Good, because I'd rather talk business." He gestured to a quiet corner table. "Shall we?" Over the next hour, they discussed the contract. Maya had questions about the timeline, the creative freedom she would have, and the technical support available. Liam answered each thoroughly, occasionally making notes on his phone. "So the installation would need to be completed by the grand opening in 6 months?" Maya asked, mentally calculating how much time that would give her for development. "That's the goal," Liam confirmed, "but quality comes first. If you need more time to get it right, we can discuss an extension." Maya nodded, impressed by his flexibility. "And I'd have full creative control? Within the general theme we discussed?" "Absolutely. That's why I'm hiring you. For your vision, not mine." As they wrapped up the business discussion, Maya realized she had run out of questions. The contract was generous, the opportunity unprecedented. There was no logical reason to refuse. "I'll need to give notice at the café," she said, making her decision. 2 weeks. Liam's face lit up with a genuine smile. "So you're accepting?" "Yes." Maya extended her hand across the table. "I accept." Instead of shaking her hand, Liam passed her a pen. "Then let's make it official." Maya signed the contract, feeling as though she was signing away her old life and stepping into something entirely new. As Liam added his signature beside hers, their hands brushed briefly. Maya ignored the small jolt that traveled up her arm at the contact. "Welcome to Horizon, Maya Reynolds," Liam said, his blue eyes warm. "I'm looking forward to seeing what you create." 2 weeks later, Maya walked into the soaring glass headquarters of Horizon Technologies for the first time. The lobby was a vast, open space with sleek lines and minimalist furniture. Beautiful, but cold. She immediately understood why Liam wanted an art installation to warm it up. A receptionist directed her to the elevator. "Mr. Parker's office is on the top floor. He's expecting you." The elevator opened directly into a spacious reception area, where a professional-looking woman in her 40s greeted her with a warm smile. "Ms. Reynolds? I'm Patricia, Mr. Parker's executive assistant. He's just finishing up a call. Can I get you anything while you wait?" "No, thank you," Maya replied, suddenly feeling underdressed in her simple black pants and emerald blouse. The nicest outfit she owned that wasn't the graduation dress. Patricia gave her an appraising look. "First-day nerves are normal, but don't worry. Liam doesn't bite. Not usually, anyway." The older woman winked, putting Maya slightly more at ease. Before she could respond, a door opened and Liam emerged, phone still pressed to his ear. He spotted Maya, and his serious expression softened. "I have to go," he said to whoever was on the other end of the call. "We'll continue this tomorrow." He disconnected and approached Maya with an extended hand. "Welcome to Horizon. How does it feel to be an artist again instead of a waitress?" Maya shook his hand, acutely aware of how warm and firm his grip was. "Surreal, honestly. I keep waiting for someone to tell me there's been a mistake." Liam laughed. "No mistake. Come, let me show you your studio space." He led her down a corridor to a large room with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city. The space was empty except for a sleek desk, a top-of-the-line computer setup, and various art supplies neatly arranged along one wall. "I wasn't sure what materials you'd need," Liam explained, "so I had the basics brought in. Anything else you require, just let Patricia know." Maya walked slowly around the room, running her fingers along the pristine desk, taking in the spectacular view. This was more space, more light, more everything than she'd ever had to work with. "This is incredible," she breathed. "Thank you." "Don't thank me yet," Liam said, his tone light but his eyes serious. "I have high expectations for what you'll create here." Over the next few weeks, Maya threw herself into the project. She sketched concepts, created digital renderings, and built small-scale prototypes. Liam checked in regularly but never micromanaged. He seemed genuinely interested in her creative process, often asking thoughtful questions about her decisions. One evening, nearly a month into the project, Maya was working late, lost in the flow of creation. She didn't hear the studio door open until Liam spoke from directly behind her. "That's fascinating." Maya jumped, nearly knocking over her coffee cup, thankfully almost empty this time. "You startled me. I thought everyone had gone home." "CEO hours," Liam said with a wry smile. "What are you working on?" Maya gestured to the holographic projection hovering above her workspace. "I'm mapping how the installation will respond to different emotional inputs. See how the light patterns change based on the facial expressions it detects?" Liam leaned closer, studying the simulation. His shoulder brushed against hers, and Maya became acutely aware of the scent of his cologne. Subtle, but distinctly masculine. "Show me," he said. Maya cycled through the demonstrations, smiles creating swirling patterns of gold and amber, contemplative expressions generating cool blues and purples, excitement triggering bursts of vibrant reds and oranges. "It reads micro-expressions," she explained, trying to focus on the work rather than his proximity. "Even emotions people try to hide." Liam turned to look at her, his face close enough that she could see flecks of gray in his blue eyes. "What would it read on me right now?" Maya swallowed hard. I don't know. The prototype isn't sophisticated enough yet to—" "I meant you," he interrupted softly. What do you read on my face right now, Maya? The air between them seemed to thicken. Maya was acutely aware of her heartbeat accelerating, of the slight flush rising to her cheeks. Interest? She said finally, her voice barely above a whisper. Curiosity. Maybe. Something more. For a moment, neither moved. Then Liam straightened, putting a respectable distance between them. Sorry, that was inappropriate of me. It's okay, Maya said quickly, though she wasn't entirely sure what had just happened. No, it's not. Liam ran a hand through his hair, a rare gesture of discomfort from someone usually so composed. You work for me. There are boundaries that should be respected. Maya nodded, unsure how to respond. Part of her was disappointed at his retreat. Another part was relieved. Getting involved with her employer, especially one as powerful as Liam Parker, would be complicated at best, disastrous at worst. It's late, Liam said, his professional demeanor firmly back in place. You should go home and rest. The work will be here tomorrow. After he left, Maya sat for a long time, staring at the swirling patterns of light still hovering in the air. What had just happened? Had she imagined the tension between them? And more importantly, why did a small part of her wish he hadn't pulled away? The following day, Liam was politely distant during their scheduled project review. He focused entirely on the work, offering constructive feedback and additional resources, but none of the personal warmth that had characterized their previous interactions. Maya told herself this was for the best. The last thing she needed was to complicate the biggest professional opportunity of her life with inappropriate feelings for her benefactor. Still, she missed the easy rapport they had developed. 2 months into the project, Maya hit a technical roadblock. The full-scale prototype was experiencing lag issues that disrupted the seamless emotional response she had envisioned. After 3 days of frustration and little sleep, she was ready to scream. Problems? Came Liam's voice from the doorway of her studio. Maya looked up, not bothering to hide her frustration. The processing power isn't sufficient for real-time rendering of multiple emotional inputs simultaneously. It works fine with 1 or 2 people, but in a busy lobby with dozens crossing through, the system can't keep up. Liam considered this. Have you spoken with our technical team? Yes, and they've been helpful, but they're approaching it from a pure engineering perspective. They don't understand the artistic vision. Maya pushed her hair back from her face, aware she probably looked as exhausted as she felt. When did you last sleep? Liam asked, his tone softening. Define sleep, Maya muttered, turning back to her computer. Without warning, Liam reached over and shut down her workstation. Hey, Maya protested. I was working on that. And you'll work on it again tomorrow after you've rested. His tone brooked no argument. Come on, I'm taking you to dinner. I'm not hungry, Maya lied, just as her stomach betrayed her with an audible growl. Liam raised an eyebrow. Your body disagrees. Besides, I think better when I'm not at the office. Maybe a change of scenery will help us solve your technical problem. Us. The simple word sent an unexpected warmth through Maya's chest. Despite his professional distance over the past weeks, he was still invested in her success. Fine, she conceded, but nothing fancy. I'm not exactly dressed for fine dining. She gestured to her paint-splattered jeans and oversized sweater. I know just the place, Liam assured her. The place turned out to be a hole-in-the-wall Thai restaurant in a neighborhood Maya had never visited. The elderly woman who greeted them clearly knew Liam well, embracing him like a long-lost son. Liam, too long since you visit, she scolded good-naturedly. And you bring pretty girlfriend this time. Just a colleague, Mrs. Sawanto. Liam corrected gently. Maya, this is Mrs. Sawanto. She makes the best pad thai in Portland. In America, the woman corrected with a wink at Maya. Come, I give you good table. Over plates of fragrant food, Maya and Liam really talked, for the first time in weeks. Not just about the project, but about their backgrounds, their passions, their dreams. Maya learned that Liam had grown up in a middle-class family in Seattle, the son of a high school teacher and a nurse. His tech empire had started in a garage with just 2 friends and a radical idea. "I never set out to be wealthy," he admitted, twirling noodles around his fork. "I just wanted to build something that mattered." "And now?" Maya asked. "Does it still matter?" Liam considered her question, his expression thoughtful. "Some days I'm not sure. The bigger horizon gets, the more removed I feel from the actual creation. That's part of why your project is important to me. It reminds me why I started all this in the first place, to make something beautiful and meaningful." His sincerity touched Maya deeply. This wasn't the calculating businessman the world saw. This was a creator who understood the value of making something from nothing. "What about you?" Liam asked. "Why art? Why digital installations specifically?" Maya took a sip of her water, organizing her thoughts. "I've always been drawn to the intersection of technology and emotion. Traditional art, painting, sculpture. It's beautiful, but static. Interactive installations create a dialogue between the viewer and the piece. Each experience is unique, personal. Like a conversation," Liam suggested. "Exactly. The art speaks, the viewer responds, and the art answers back differently each time." Maya felt herself smiling, the passion for her work reigniting as she spoke about it. "That's what I love, creating something that's never the same twice." As they talked, Maya found herself sharing things she rarely discussed. Her parents' initial disappointment when she chose art over joining the family gallery business, her brief engagement to a fellow artist who had ultimately chosen a commercial career path over their relationship, her struggle to maintain her artistic identity while working service jobs to survive. "I was close to giving up," she admitted. "The day you came into the cafe, I had just been rejected for a small grant I'd applied for. I was thinking maybe it was time to accept that art would always be a hobby, never a career." "Then you spilled coffee on me," Liam said with a smile, "and fate intervened." "I wouldn't call it fate," Maya protested. "More like fortunate clumsiness. Call it what you will." Liam's eyes held hers. "I'm glad it happened." By the time they finished dinner, Maya felt refreshed in a way that went beyond physical rest. Talking about her passion had rekindled her determination to overcome the technical challenges facing her installation. "I think I know how to fix the processing issue," she said as they walked back to Liam's car. "Instead of trying to render all inputs simultaneously, I could create a triage system that prioritizes the most emotionally dynamic faces in the field of view." "Focusing on the strongest signals first," Liam nodded. "That could work." "I need to get back to the studio," Maya said, energized by the breakthrough. "Tomorrow," Liam countered firmly. "Tonight, you sleep. The idea will still be there in the morning." He drove her home, insisting on walking her to her apartment door despite her protests that it wasn't necessary. "Thank you for dinner," Maya said as they reached her door. "And for the perspective. I needed both." "Anytime," Liam replied, his voice softer than usual. There was a moment, brief but electric, when Maya thought he might lean in, might cross the invisible boundary they had both been so careful to maintain. Instead, he took a small step back. "Good night, Maya. I'll see you tomorrow." "Good night, Liam." Inside her apartment, Maya leaned against the closed door, her heart racing with a complex mixture of emotions. She was falling for him. Had been falling since that first day in the cafe. But their professional relationship made any personal entanglement complicated, possibly even unethical. And yet, the way he had looked at her tonight, the way he had listened as if every word she spoke mattered deeply to him. Maya sighed, pushing away from the door. Whatever was or wasn't developing between them would have to wait. The installation was her priority, her chance to re-establish herself as an artist. She couldn't risk jeopardizing that, no matter how drawn she felt to Liam Parker. The next few weeks passed in a blur of creation. With the technical issues resolved, Maya's vision began taking physical form. The lobby installation grew from a collection of components into a cohesive whole, a swirling matrix of light and sound that responded to the emotional energy of those who passed through it. Liam maintained his professional distance, though Maya occasionally caught him watching her with an expression she couldn't quite decipher. Their interactions remained focused on the project, but there was an undercurrent of something unacknowledged between them. As the installation neared completion, Maya found herself working longer hours, fine-tuning every aspect of the experience. One evening, absorbed in adjusting the color algorithms, she didn't notice Liam enter her studio until he cleared his throat. "It's 10 p.m., he said, concern evident in his voice. "You've been here since 7 a.m. Maya looked up, blinking as her eyes adjusted from the vibrant light patterns to the dimmer room. "Is it that late already? I lost track of time." "You need to rest," Liam insisted. "You've been pushing yourself too hard. The grand opening is in 3 weeks," Maya reminded him. "Everything needs to be perfect." "It already is perfect," Liam said, approaching the installation. The swirling lights reflected in his eyes as he studied it. "You've created something extraordinary, Maya." His sincere praise warmed her more than she wanted to admit. "There are still adjustments to make. The blue transitions aren't quite fluid enough, and the—" "Maya," Liam interrupted gently, turning to face her. "You need to step back. You're too close to see how remarkable this truly is." Their eyes met, and for a moment Maya saw past the CEO to the man beneath, a creator who understood the compulsion to perfect one's vision, who recognized both the beauty and the flaws in what she had made. "1 more hour," she compromised. "Then I'll go home." Liam nodded, but instead of leaving, he pulled up a chair next to hers. "I'll wait." "You don't have to babysit me," Maya protested. "I'm not babysitting. I'm enjoying the view." His gaze remained on the installation, but Maya felt a flush rise to her cheeks nonetheless. True to his word, Liam stayed with Maya for exactly 1 hour, then insisted on driving her home. Their conversation during the drive was comfortable but carefully neutral, discussing the installation, the upcoming opening event, the weather. Yet Maya couldn't ignore the tension humming beneath the surface, like the low bass note in a complex piece of music. At her apartment building, Liam pulled up to the curb but didn't immediately unlock the doors. Instead, he turned to her, his expression serious in the dim light. "Maya, there's something I need to say." Her heart skipped. "Yes?" He seemed to choose his words carefully. "The installation is nearly complete, which means our professional relationship will soon change. After the opening, you'll no longer be under contract with Horizon." "I know," Maya said, unsure where he was going with this. "I've been maintaining a certain distance because I believe in professional boundaries, but I want you to know that once the project is complete, if you were interested in exploring—" He paused, uncharacteristically hesitant. "A different kind of relationship. I would be very open to that possibility." Maya's breath caught. "Are you asking me out? In advance?" A smile touched his lips. "I suppose I am. Inefficiently, it seems." "Why tell me now?" Maya asked, genuinely curious. "Why not wait until after the opening?" "Because I want you to have time to think about it," Liam replied simply. "No pressure, no obligation. And because I want you to know that my interest in you has nothing to do with your work for Horizon. Whether you say yes or no, the installation is yours. Your creation, your vision, your success." The sincerity in his voice touched something deep within Maya. Most men in his position would have used their power as leverage, making her wonder if her professional opportunity was contingent on personal interest. Liam was doing the opposite, making it clear that her work stood on its own merit, regardless of any personal connection between them. "Thank you for that," she said softly. "And yes, I would be interested in exploring whatever this is after the opening." The smile that spread across his face made him look younger, more like the garage startup founder he had once been than the powerful CEO he had become. "Good," he said simply. "Now, get some rest. Big day tomorrow. The marketing team wants to film a preview of the installation for the press package." Maya nodded, suddenly feeling the weight of the long day. "Good night, Liam." "Good night, Maya." As she climbed the stairs to her apartment, Maya felt both exhausted and strangely energized. The possibility of a relationship with Liam after the project was complete gave her something to look forward to beyond the professional triumph of the installation. Yet it also created a new kind of pressure. What would happen if they dated and it didn't work out? Would she forever be known as the artist who briefly caught the CEO's attention, rather than for her work itself? Pushing these thoughts aside, Maya focused on preparing for the next day. The marketing preview needed to be perfect. It would be most people's first glimpse of her creation. The following morning, Maya arrived at Horizon early to ensure everything was ready. The installation looked magnificent. A swirling galaxy of light points suspended throughout the lobby, currently in its passive state of gentle blues and silvers. As employees began arriving for work, the installation came alive, responding to their emotional states. Joy triggered bursts of gold and amber. Concentration created patterns of deep purples and blues. Stress manifested as vibrant reds that gradually softened as the installation's soothing sounds worked their subtle magic. Maya watched from a distance, making minor adjustments to the sensors and response algorithms as needed. "It's working beautifully," came Liam's voice from behind her. He had arrived with the marketing team, who were now setting up cameras throughout the lobby. "Better than I expected, honestly," Maya admitted. "The emotional response is more nuanced than in the test runs." "Because these are genuine emotions, not simulated ones," Liam observed. "Real people going about their day, not trying to perform for a test." The marketing director approached, clipboard in hand. "We're ready when you are, Mr. Parker. We'd like to get some footage of you and Ms. Reynolds explaining the concept, then shots of the installation responding to various employees." The next few hours were a blur of filming, explaining, demonstrating. Maya found herself more comfortable in front of the camera than she'd expected, her passion for the project overriding her natural shyness. Liam, unsurprisingly, was a natural, articulate, engaging, with just the right balance of technical explanation and emotional connection. "This installation represents Horizon's core philosophy," he told the camera. "Technology should enhance human experience, not replace it. Maya Reynolds has created something that doesn't just display emotions. It transforms them, connects them, makes them part of a larger whole. It's exactly what we strive for in all our products." Hearing him speak about her work with such genuine admiration filled Maya with pride. This wasn't just a job anymore. It was the beginning of her artistic career, a statement piece that would open doors she'd thought permanently closed after years of setbacks. As the filming wrapped up, the marketing director approached Maya with an unexpected request. "We'd like to feature your story in the press materials, how you went from waitress to commissioned artist. It's compelling, inspirational." Maya hesitated, uncomfortable with the rags to riches narrative. "I'd prefer the focus to stay on the art itself, not on me." "The human element sells," the director pressed. "Especially with Mr. Parker's involvement. People love a good story." Before Maya could respond, Liam intervened. "The installation is the story here," he said firmly. "Maya's art speaks for itself. If she prefers to keep her personal journey private, we'll respect that." The marketing director nodded, though she looked disappointed. "Of course, we'll focus on the installation." After she walked away, Maya turned to Liam gratefully. "Thank you. I'm not ready to become a PR narrative. You don't owe anyone your story," Liam said simply. "The work stands on its own merit." Their eyes met, and Maya felt that now familiar current of connection between them. 3 more weeks until the opening. 3 more weeks until they could explore whatever was growing between them without the complications of their professional relationship. "Mr. Parker?" Patricia appeared at Liam's elbow. "Your 2 o'clock is waiting in the conference room." "I'll be right there." He turned back to Maya. "Dinner tonight? To celebrate the successful preview?" Maya smiled. "Professional dinner, of course." "Of course." He agreed, though his eyes conveyed a different message. 7 o'clock? 7 it is. That evening they dined at a quiet restaurant with a view of the river. Though they maintained the pretense of a business meal, discussing the installation and the upcoming opening, there was an undeniable shift in their dynamic. Subtle glances held longer. Conversations drifted from work to more personal topics. The professional boundary was still there, but growing increasingly thin. Over dessert, a shared plate of tiramisu, Liam asked a question that caught Maya off guard. "What will you do after the opening? Artistically, I mean." Maya had been so focused on completing the installation that she hadn't given much thought to what came next. "I'm not sure," she admitted. "This project has opened up possibilities I hadn't considered before." "Such as?" "I've been thinking about a series of smaller installations, more intimate pieces for gallery spaces rather than corporate environments. Exploring the same themes of emotional response, but on a more personal scale." Liam nodded thoughtfully. "I'd like to see that. Your work deserves to be experienced by as many people as possible." "What about you?" Maya asked. "What's next for Horizon after the headquarters opening?" A shadow crossed Liam's face. "That's complicated. There are some decisions on the horizon, if you'll forgive the pun, that I'm not entirely comfortable with." What kind of decisions? Liam hesitated, then seemed to make up his mind to confide in her. The board is pushing for a merger with Vertex Systems. It would make us the largest tech conglomerate in the country, but at a cost. What cost? Maya pressed gently. Our independence, our vision. He set down his fork. Vertex is driven by profit margins, not innovation. They see technology as a commodity, not a means of human connection. Can't you stop it? You're the CEO. I'm also answerable to shareholders, Liam explained. And many of them see dollar signs where I see compromise. Maya reached across the table, briefly touching his hand. What will you do? Fight for what I believe in, he said simply. Even if it means walking away. His words hung in the air between them, heavy with implication. Maya realized that Liam was at a crossroads in his own career, just as she was in hers. Both of them facing choices that would define their futures. The days leading up to the grand opening passed in a whirlwind of final adjustments, press previews, and mounting anticipation. Maya barely saw Liam, who was caught up in board meetings and preparations for the event. Their dinner had been their updates, interspersed with subtle personal notes that made Maya smile, despite her exhaustion. The night before the opening, Maya stayed late at the office, making one final calibration to the installation's sound elements. The building was nearly empty, most employees having left to rest before the big day. The lobby was dimly lit, the installation in its passive state, a gentle nebula of soft light. It's perfect, came Liam's voice, startling Maya from her concentration. He stood at the edge of the lobby, jacket discarded, tie loosened, signs of a long day of meetings. Nothing's ever perfect, Maya replied, though she smiled at the compliment. But it's as close as I can make it. Liam approached, stopping beside her to gaze up at the swirling lights. How does it know what to do when no one's here? When there are no emotions to read? It remembers, Maya explained. It stores the emotional patterns it's encountered throughout the day and plays them back in new combinations, like dreams made of other people's feelings. That's beautiful, Liam said softly. It was inspired by something you said at that first dinner, about technology connecting us, enhancing our lives, reflecting our humanity. I wanted to create something that didn't just respond to emotions, but preserved them, transformed them, gave them new life. Liam turned to look at her, his expression intense. You did, beyond anything I could have imagined. They stood in silence for a moment, surrounded by the gentle pulse of light and sound, a digital heartbeat echoing through the empty lobby. The board voted today, Liam said finally, on the merger with Vertex. Maya's heart sank, and it was split. As CEO, I had the deciding vote. What did you decide? Liam's eyes never left hers. I voted no. Relief washed over Maya. You did? I showed them this, he gestured to the installation. I told them this is what Horizon stands for. Innovation that serves humanity, not the other way around. Technology that enhances connection rather than replacing it. And they accepted that? Some did. Others are furious. Liam shrugged, but Maya could see the tension in his shoulders. They'll try to oust me eventually. But for now, Horizon remains independent. I'm glad, Maya said simply. Your vision deserves to be protected. Liam stepped closer, close enough that Maya could smell his cologne, could see the faint shadow of stubble on his jaw. Tomorrow, after the opening, after your contract officially ends, have dinner with me? Not as CEO and artist, but as Liam and Maya? Maya's heart raced. Yes, she said softly. I'd like that. For a moment, it seemed he might kiss her, right there, surrounded by the swirling lights of her creation. Instead, he reached out and tucked a strand of hair behind her ear, his fingers lingering for just a moment against her cheek. Tomorrow, then, he said, his voice husky. Tomorrow, she echoed. The morning of the grand opening dawned bright and clear. Maya arrived early, wearing a dress she had splurged on with part of her advance, a flowing creation in shades of blue and silver that echoed the colors of her installation. Her parents would be attending, along with critics, journalists, potential clients, and of course, the entire Horizon executive team. As guests began to arrive, Maya positioned herself near the installation, ready to explain her concept to anyone interested. Her parents found her first, her father enveloping her in a tight hug. "It's magnificent, sweetheart," he said, his voice thick with emotion. "I always knew you had this in you." "We're so proud," her mother added, her eyes shining as she gazed up at the responsive light display. More guests arrived: art critics, tech journalists, business partners. Maya found herself explaining her process over and over, watching with satisfaction as faces lit up with understanding and appreciation. Her creation was doing exactly what she had intended, connecting with people on an emotional level, creating a shared experience that was both technological and deeply human. She caught glimpses of Liam throughout the event, shaking hands, giving interviews, always the consummate. But occasionally, their eyes would meet across the crowded lobby, and a silent message would pass between them, anticipation of the evening ahead, of boundaries finally falling away. As the formal part of the event approached, Maya made her way to the small stage that had been set up at one end of the lobby. Liam was already there, speaking quietly with the head of the board, an older man with a stern expression who seemed to be arguing a point forcefully. As Maya approached, she heard snippets of their conversation. "Reconsider before it's too late. My decision is final, Richard." The board chairman noticed Maya and abruptly stopped speaking, his expression cooling as he nodded curtly in her direction before walking away. "Problem?" Maya asked softly as she took her place beside Liam. "Nothing for you to worry about," he assured her, though the tension around his eyes told a different story. "Ready for your moment in the spotlight?" Before she could respond, the PR director stepped up to the microphone, calling for the crowd's attention. After a brief introduction, she invited Liam to speak. His address was concise but powerful, emphasizing Horizon's commitment to human-centered technology and introducing Maya as an artist whose vision aligned perfectly with the company's values. When he invited Maya to the microphone, the applause was genuine and enthusiastic. Standing before the crowd, Maya felt a moment of panic. She had prepared remarks, but looking out at the sea of faces, expectant, curious, evaluative, she decided to speak from the heart instead. "Art and technology are often seen as opposing forces," she began. "One human, one mechanical, one emotional, one logical. But that dichotomy is false. The most powerful technology speaks to our humanity. The most moving art often employs technical precision." She gestured to the installation swirling above them, responding to the collective emotional energy of the room with bursts of gold and amber. "This installation doesn't just display light and sound. It reads our emotions, our joy, our curiosity, our wonder, and transforms them into a shared experience. It remembers us, learns from us, grows with us. Much like Horizon itself, it exists at the intersection of innovation and humanity." As she spoke, Maya noticed the board chairman watching her with narrowed eyes, his gaze shifting between her and Liam with something like suspicion. She pushed the observation aside, focusing on concluding her remarks. "Thank you to Liam Parker for believing in this vision, and to everyone at Horizon who helped bring it to life. I hope this installation reminds everyone who passes through these doors that technology at its best doesn't replace human connection. It amplifies it." The applause was immediate and enthusiastic. As Maya stepped back from the microphone, Liam leaned close, his lips near her ear. "Beautiful," he murmured. "Just like you." The formal presentation concluded, and the event transitioned to a cocktail reception. Maya was approached by several gallery owners interested in her future work, journalists requesting interviews, and even a representative from the very grant foundation that had rejected her application months earlier. "We'd love to reconsider your proposal," the woman said, handing Maya her card. "Your work here is exactly the kind of innovative approach we want to support." Maya accepted the card with a smile that contained just a hint of satisfaction. "I'll be in touch." As the evening progressed, Maya found herself drawn into conversation after conversation, each one a potential opportunity for her future career. The installation had done more than transform the Horizon lobby. It had transformed her professional prospects overnight. She was speaking with a curator from a prestigious downtown gallery when she noticed a commotion near the main doors. Liam was engaged in what appeared to be a heated discussion with the board chairman and several other executives. Though their voices were low, their body language spoke volumes: tension, anger, resolution. Excusing herself from the curator, Maya made her way across the lobby, concern mounting. As she approached, she heard the chairman's cutting tone. "You're making a grave mistake, Liam. Think of the shareholders." "I am thinking of them," Liam replied evenly. "Short-term gains at the expense of our core values is not sustainable growth." "This is about her, isn't it?" the chairman said, his gaze shifting briefly to Maya as she approached. "You're jeopardizing everything we've built because of some infatuation with an artist." Maya froze, the accusation hitting her like a physical blow. Is that what people thought? That Liam's business decisions were being influenced by personal feelings for her? Before Liam could respond, she turned and walked away, needing space to process this new, uncomfortable perspective. Had she been naive? Was their connection complicating Liam's professional life in ways she hadn't considered? She found a quiet corner near the emergency exit, away from the crowds and the celebratory atmosphere. The installation responded to her distress, the section above her shifting to cooler blues and muted purples, a digital reflection of her sudden uncertainty. She didn't hear Liam approach until he spoke her name softly. "Maya." She turned to find him watching her with concern. "Are you okay? You left rather suddenly." "Is it true?" she asked directly. "Is your board questioning your judgment because of whatever is happening between us?" Liam sighed, running a hand through his hair. "Richard is grasping at straws. He wants the merger because it would triple the value of his shares overnight. When logical arguments failed, he resorted to personal attacks. But there's some truth to it, isn't there? There is something between us. Something that could be seen as a conflict of interest." "Maya," Liam said firmly, stepping closer. "My decision about the merger was based on what's best for Horizon long term, not on my feelings for you. Though I won't deny those feelings exist and are significant." The way he said significant sent a warm current through Maya's chest despite her concerns. Still, she needed to be sure. "I don't want to be the reason your leadership is questioned," she said quietly. "My work is important to me, but so is yours. If our connection is causing problems—" "It isn't," Liam interrupted. "And even if it were, some things are worth fighting for." His gaze held hers intently, both professionally and personally. Before Maya could respond, Patricia appeared, her expression apologetic. "I'm sorry to interrupt, but the mayor has arrived and is asking to speak with both of you about the installation." Liam nodded, his eyes still on Maya. "We'll be right there." As Patricia stepped away, he added softly, "This conversation isn't over. Dinner tonight, remember?" Maya nodded, pushing her concerns aside for the moment. The evening was a professional triumph for both of them. They could address personal complications later. The remainder of the event passed in a blur of congratulations, conversations, and potential opportunities. By the time the last guest departed, Maya was exhausted but exhilarated. Her installation had been received with universal praise, and her future as an artist suddenly seemed filled with possibilities. As the event staff began cleaning up, Liam approached her once more. "Ready for that dinner? Or are you too tired?" Maya considered the question. She was physically exhausted, but mentally alert, buzzing with the need to process everything that had happened, both professionally and personally. "Dinner sounds perfect," she decided, "but somewhere quiet. I've done enough networking for one night." Liam smiled, the tension he'd carried throughout the event visibly easing. "I know just the place." The place turned out to be Liam's penthouse apartment, a spacious, minimalist space with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city. Unlike the cold, corporate aesthetic Maya had expected, the apartment was warm and personal, filled with books, art, and comfortable furniture. "I hope you don't mind," Liam said as he led her inside. "I thought we could use some privacy after being on display all evening. I can make us pasta, or we can order in if you prefer." "This is perfect," Maya assured him, slipping off her heels with a sigh of relief. "And pasta sounds wonderful." As Liam moved to the kitchen, Maya wandered the living room, studying the art on the walls, an eclectic collection that revealed a genuinely personal taste rather than corporate prestige purchases. She paused before a small oil painting hanging near the fireplace. "This is one of my father's," she said with surprise, recognizing his distinctive brushwork. "I bought it years ago," Liam called from the kitchen, where he was already preparing ingredients. "Long before I met you." It always spoke to me, something about the way the light breaks through the clouds. Maya studied the painting with new eyes, a stormy seascape with a single beam of sunlight piercing the darkness. It was one of her father's more emotional works, raw and honest in a way his gallery pieces rarely were. "He painted this after my mother was diagnosed with cancer," she said softly. "During the worst of her treatment. That light, that was his hope." Liam paused in his cooking, turning to look at her. "I didn't know. Is she—" "She's fine now," Maya assured him. 10 years cancer-free, but that was a dark time for our family." Liam nodded, understanding in his eyes. "Art as emotional processing. Not unlike your installation. It runs in the family, I guess," Maya acknowledged with a small smile. As Liam cooked, they talked, really talked, about the evening, about the installation's reception, about the opportunities that had opened up for Maya. The conversation flowed easily, free from the constraints of their former professional relationship. Over dinner, a simple but delicious pasta dish served with good wine, Maya returned to the conversation they'd started at the event. "I need to know that whatever happens between us won't impact your professional standing," she said directly. "I couldn't live with myself if I became a liability to you or to Horizon." Liam set down his fork, giving her his full attention. "Maya, my decision about the merger was made on principle, not emotion. Yes, your installation helped crystallize those principles for me, reminded me why I founded Horizon in the first place. But that's about the work itself, not about my feelings for you." "And those feelings?" Maya asked, her heart racing despite her attempt at casual inquiry. Liam's eyes met hers, direct and unwavering. "I've never met anyone like you. Someone who sees the world with such clarity, such honesty. Who creates beauty from chaos. Who spills coffee on a CEO and then changes his entire perspective on his life's work." A smile tugged at his lips. "I'm falling in love with you, Maya Reynolds. Have been since that first day in the café." The simple declaration stole Maya's breath. "Liam, You don't have to say anything," he assured her quickly. "I know it's soon. I know we're just starting whatever this is. I just wanted you to know where I stand." Maya reached across the table, taking his hand in hers. "I'm falling in love with you too," she admitted softly. "And it terrifies me." "Why?" "Because our worlds are so different. Because 3 months ago I was a struggling waitress, and you are one of the most powerful CEOs in the country. Because I'm afraid that what feels real now might not last once the novelty wears off." Liam's fingers tightened around hers. "There's nothing novel about how I feel about you, Maya. It's the most real thing in my life." After dinner, they moved to the balcony, the night air cool against Maya's skin as they looked out over the city lights. Liam stood behind her, his arms wrapped around her waist, his warmth enveloping her. "What happens now?" Maya asked softly. "With us? With your board? With my career?" "Now," Liam said, his voice close to her ear. "We take it one day at a time. My board will either come around or they won't. That's a battle I'm prepared to fight. Your career is yours to shape, though I hope I get to witness it unfold." Maya turned in his arms to face him. "And us?" In answer, Liam lowered his head and kissed her, gently at first, then with increasing intensity as Maya responded, her arms sliding around his neck, her body pressing closer to his. When they finally broke apart, both breathless, Liam rested his forehead against hers. "Does that answer your question?" he murmured. Maya smiled, a sense of certainty settling over her. "Yes," she said simply. "It does." 6 months later, Maya stood in a gallery downtown, watching as visitors interacted with her latest installation, a smaller, more intimate version of the emotional response system she'd created for Horizon. The exhibition, her first solo show, had drawn impressive crowds and critical acclaim. She felt a presence beside her and turned to find Liam watching the installation with the same wonder he'd shown that first day in his office. "It's beautiful," he said softly. "Even better than the Horizon piece." "Different," Maya corrected. "More personal." Like us, Liam suggested, taking her hand in his. Maya smiled, thinking of the journey they'd taken together over the past months. Liam had indeed battled his board, eventually replacing several members with directors who shared his vision for human-centered technology. Horizon had thrived under his renewed leadership, proving that principle and profit could coexist. Meanwhile, Maya had established herself as an emerging voice in interactive art, her work sought after by galleries and museums across the country. She maintained her independence fiercely, refusing to be known simply as Liam Parker's girlfriend, though that relationship had deepened and strengthened with time. Like us, she agreed, squeezing his hand. As they watched visitors engage with her creation, faces lighting up with wonder as the installation responded to their emotions, Maya reflected on the strange series of events that had brought her here. A spilled cup of coffee. A ruined suit. An opportunity grasped despite fear and doubt. Sometimes, she thought, the most beautiful creations emerge from the most unexpected accidents. Up next, you've got two more standout stories right on your screen. If this one hit the mark, you won't want to pass these up. Just click and check them out. And don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any upload from us.